this is Jantelle, the aspiring actress. Hope you guys had a great couple of weeks. I did too. There's a lot to tell you, a lot to catch you up on, and I'm so sorry about last week. I had one of the craziest weeks that I've had to date, and by the time I got in on Monday night, it was almost midnight, and I just did not have it in me to do the video. And then Tuesday was even worse, so by Wednesday, I'm thinking, well, can I go ahead and post it on Wednesday? And I just decided it's better to ask forgiveness than permission in this case. I'm just gonna get the video done next week and apologize for not having one last week. But anyway, I'm back. Hope you guys had, like I said, a great week. So first things first, my first time on set. I had such a good time. I drove down to Virginia Beach, and I was in a training video, so I actually had to portray a lab technician. I didn't have any speaking part, but I did, I was in costume and all that stuff. I posted a bunch of pictures to Instagram under, at actress Jantelle. So if you do have Instagram, go ahead, check it out, and you'll get to see some of the pictures, some of the video that I took while I was on set. And okay, so funny side note. At the end of the movies, my mom and I will sit there, and my sisters and I will sit there and watch all the credits run through, right? So, and we just pick out random jobs and try to figure out what they are, like the boom grip operator or whatever. And so we see this dolly grip, one time, and we start laughing trying to figure out what a dolly grip is and why they deserve a credit, right? Well, on set, I actually met a dolly grip operator, and so I was able to see what exactly a dolly grip does, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get home and tell my mom I met a dolly grip operator. But anyway, it was kind of funny, but it was pretty cool. It was kind of, basically what a dolly, you guys probably already know this, but what a dolly grip is or does, they had some scenes where the camera was moving in the room. Now, we as the actors were stationary, but the camera was moving. So, and I'm sure, we've all seen that in the movies where, if you watch Fast and Furious and the camera is staying with the car as the car is, driving down the road, that's because the camera is set on a platform. And I'm sure if you watch any behind the scenes, DVD specials or whatever, you've seen this. But the camera is sitting on a little platform that has wheels on it, and then that platform is on a track. And so the dolly grip is the person who pushes the little platform or the dolly down the track. So I was like, oh, I know what a dolly grip is. I met a real one. So it was just kind of funny. It was a moment for me. It was a moment. Anyway, so it was a fun day. It was a long day, and I was surprised at how much downtime there was. A lot of the time was spent talking with my other castmates. I met one actor who has been acting for about 3 or 4 years, who's had appearances in shows that I watched, like Empire and I don't watch Ballers, but he said that he had a part in Ballers, and so I thought that was pretty cool, and that he was going to be in a movie that's shooting in New York right now. So that's pretty exciting. He's been doing it for about 4 years. Some of the other guys on set that were part of the talent or part of the cast were basically, they say they just kind of do it on the weekends, just a little something, to keep them occupied, just experiences to have. So it was good to see both ends of the spectrum as to who's really taking it seriously, making a career out of it, and who just kind of sees it as, a hobby. So it was nice to be able to talk to them and get some feedback, and also get some, ideas on how things work, get a better understanding of, how long it takes, or get some ideas or suggestions on things that I could do that would help me to start or continue to move forward in my career. So that was pretty cool as well. And I finally got back to my acting class. My acting coach finally came back off of vacation and everything else. So we have had 2 classes since, and I feel like I might be getting a little bit better, but for the most part, I can see the challenges or the things that I still want to work on. You know, being kind of a perfectionist, I want everything to be just right. So if I see, you know, I can pick out the little things that I'm doing that to me seem like errors, even though he is saying that they're not errors and, you know, you're just learning and everything's fine, you're getting back into it. I'm already, you know, doing kind of, how can I say this? So he's mentioned many, you know, several times that a lot of the things that he sees me doing are things that are, you know, that are good things. So it's not necessarily that I have so far to go, but for me, it just feels like I have so far to go. Which brings me to the thing that I would tell my 19-year-old self. So I started reading a book, Think and Grow Rich. Technically, it's been kind of geared toward becoming financially rich and, you know, whether it's starting your own company or business, things like that. And so it was suggested to me to read it, though, because it's not only about that. The fact that you can be rich doesn't have to be financial. It can just be in life, in general. Whatever goal you have for yourself that you want to accomplish is what the rich would be in the title of Think and Grow Rich. And so the very first chapter put out there that thoughts are things. In other words, you have a thought and you have one of two options once you have that thought: to accept it or to reject it. And so if you accept it, then you start working toward making that thought a belief. And then eventually that belief will have a physical manifestation. So the thing that I would tell my 19-year-old self is just that thoughts are things. And, you know, we've all heard the cliche sayings, if you can believe it, you can achieve it, you know, things like that. But it really is true. And if this is something that I want to do, which it obviously is, then I can't let little things hold me back. One of the biggest things, you know, that ends up happening is when you have just the tiniest setback or the tiniest thing that you may even perceive as a setback that may not even be such. It's human nature in most cases to take a step back or maybe even decide this isn't for me. And so you just kind of stop altogether. But it takes a special kind of person. It takes a special belief in yourself. It takes a special drive to keep pushing even though you feel like, okay, that was a bit of a setback. One of the sayings that I heard recently, and maybe you guys have heard it before, is you either win or you learn. And that's the thing that I'm kind of working through right now, the way that I'm looking at it. Even though I kind of hope that I would just go in there and ace everything and just be, you know, great at this and so on and so forth. And don't get me wrong, it's not like the acting coach is telling me anything is awful. I mean, that's not it. He's actually telling me I'm doing a good job. It's just me feeling like this isn't what I expected. I thought it was going to be different. I thought it was going to be easier or whatever. But the fact is, I can see where I'm improving a little bit just because it's not happening as fast as I wanted it to or as extremely as I wanted it to. Or, you know, again, being a perfectionist, you want it right all the time. So being willing to work to a goal versus expecting it to just happen tomorrow is the thing that I would tell my 19-year-old self. And it's crazy because my dad used to always say, you live in a TV world. Everything in your world you think gets wrapped up in the 30 minutes of the sitcom or the hour of that, you know, crime drama. Everything is wrapped up in a nice little package. That's not life. I didn't fully understand what he meant, but as I've gotten older, I do understand that anything worth having is worth working for. And it all starts with a thought that you want to achieve it, and then the belief that you can achieve it, and then the effort to make that actually happen. So that's the thing that I would tell my 19-year-old self. Don't give up, believe it, and keep working toward it because eventually it will happen. So that was the thing that I would tell my 19-year-old self. So these past couple of weeks have really been kind of cool. I kind of took a break on submitting myself for auditions. But there are a couple of things that are kind of close to home that I did submit myself for, so hopefully I'll hear about that. I have an audition for a theater production on Sunday. I haven't really decided how I feel about that yet. I know I have more of a background in theater, but I really want to move into film, and so TV or film or whatever. So I'm a little concerned as to whether or not I really want to go back to theater, because I'm afraid that I'll kind of like unlearn all the stuff I've learned as far as being on camera versus being on stage. So I'm still thinking about that, but I do think it would be good experience to do the audition and kind of see, how things go from there. The other thing is that with theater, it's such a long runtime. The production would run for several months, and so if there was anything else that came up, for other work on a project on camera, I'm not sure whether or not I'd have the freedom to be able to accept that. So I'm trying to decide, how I feel about it, but I'll tell you guys about that next week. So yeah, it's been plenty going on. As always, like I said, check out my Instagram, actress Jantelle, or put the comments in the bottom of or below here on the video in YouTube, and tell me what you think. Again, sorry about last week, but I'll do my best to stay caught up from now on. All right, you guys have a wonderful Monday night. Talk to you soon.